Hey guys, this is John Debelot. I am back, and this again is the Freedom Philosophy by Diaspora Freedom Initiative. So last time I spoke to you guys, we spoke all about generational wealth. This time we are getting into the permit that most people get when they come through us to relocate here to Kenya, and that is called a Class K permit. All right, so there is a whole bunch of confusion around the Class K permit. The number one part of confusion that most people have is they will refer to this thing as a retirement visa. It is not a visa at all. It is absolutely a permit, and the difference is a visa allows you entrance into a country, right? A permit allows you to operate there and perhaps start immigration proceedings, okay? So this is a permit, and it is not even a retirement permit. Okay, the minimum age that's allowed for a Class K permit is 35 years old, far from retirement age, right? You have to be at least 35 years old or older, and you have to have an income of at least $2,000 a month. Or if you get like an annuity or something like that, you were in a car accident or something like that, and you get a payment, a settlement from that accident, or a settlement from a lawsuit, then that settlement has to be at least $24,000 per year. It's the same $2,000 per month, right? Now, that income has to be set up a certain way, and that's something that our legal team can walk you through. That's more of a conversation for a consultation. However, those two things are hard requirements. Gotta at least be 35 years old, right? And if you're married, just one of you has to be 35 years old, not both of you. But gotta be 35 years old and gotta be able to show that you have an income of at least $2,000 per month, or $24,000 per year. Okay, so obviously people who are retired, it's pretty easy for them to meet this requirement, and that's where the confusion comes in. Some people who maybe don't have the legal team that's skilled enough to make it work otherwise, maybe only deal with retirees because that's an easier application than dealing with somebody who's not a retiree who wants to operate on that Class K permit. All right, that permit is a direct path to citizenship, and that's why people love it so much. That's why so many of our clients at least have one Class K permit. Lots of our clients have multiple permits, but not individually, as a family unit. We can get into that on another live. But most of our clients have at least one Class K permit in their immigration setup, and that is so that they have a direct line to dual citizenship. Now, some people are actually not interested in dual citizenship. So you do not have to activate dual citizenship at the end of the 7 years of having this permit. You can activate permanent residency. All other permits are a direct line to permanent residency. The Class K permit is a direct path to dual citizenship. There are other direct paths to dual citizenship, but they're not permits, right? So one of the other direct paths to dual citizenship is one of your parents is a Kenyan, right? So one of your parents is a Kenyan citizen, and then the legal team can get into that, and they can figure out what the best way to get you Kenyan citizenship is through the blood of the parent that's a Kenyan, right? The other way to do it is through marriage. Now, marriage and a Class K permit takes the exact same amount of time, but if you're using marriage, then you don't have a permit, you have what's called a pass, right? So that pass would also be a direct path to citizenship, okay? The issue with marriage, though, is if the marriage falls apart on the way to the 7 years, you lose all that time, essentially, right? So it's the least direct path to dual citizenship. So those are your three ways, the three ways that are very widely known to get to Kenyan citizenship, okay? There are some special circumstances beyond that, but we're not gonna get into that on this video. That is gonna be something that we talk about to our clients that are already onboarded and who have already gone through our consultation process, all right? So if you qualify for one of those special paths, we will let you know that, okay? So that's how the Class K works. Now, downsides of a Class K. You do not have working papers if you have a Class K permit, right? So that means that you cannot actively be employed in Kenya while you're waiting for your 7 years till dual citizenship. Once you get to your dual citizenship point, all restrictions on you are released. You'll get a Kenyan passport. You'll get a Kenyan national ID card. You will be a Kenyan, right? And so all restrictions will be released at that point in time. You can work if you want. You can open businesses if you want. You can do all those things. But it's all active income, right? So even on a Class K permit, can you have a bond ladder? Yes. In fact, many of our Class K permit relocatees, they leave their jobs and they leave whatever they were doing in the United States and support themselves strictly on bond ladders, right? So while they're here, the Kenyan government is actually cutting them a check because they've given the Kenyan government enough money to support them via bond payments. And we'll do what's called the strategic coupon ladder to make sure that they get a payment from the government every single month, right? And that payment is enough to cover all of their expenses, okay? We're the only relocation firm that offers that, right? So our lawyers will set up the bond ladder. They'll make sure that you have income coming in directly from the government. It's passive income, and that income will come in and cover all of your expenses while you're living here, and you'll be good to go without needing to have expenses coming in from the outside, right? As far as having a job or even a remote job, right? So that's an option for our clients. So that is how the Class K permit works. If you got any questions about that, go ahead and leave them in the comments. And as long as they're not too specific and they're not consultation questions, one of our agents will go ahead and reply to you in the comments. If you want to know more information, if you feel like you're ready to move forward with a Class K permit, you can go to our website and take a Class K assessment. It costs nothing. And then when you're going through that assessment on the website, it will let you know if you qualify or not. Our assessments always err on the side of caution. So if you are borderline, the assessment will tell you, no, you do not qualify. And then one of our either freedom facilitators, one of our legal team, or possibly even me myself will go ahead and shoot you an email and explain to you why you're on the borderline, what you might need to tighten up to make sure that you qualify, or that maybe you do qualify, but because you were so close to the borderline, the system erred on the side of caution and said, you need to do a little bit of work. All right. So that's how our assessment works. So if you do get pushed out in the assessment, don't take it too personally. If you feel like you qualify, either way, there will be an email coming that just says, hey, thanks for taking the assessment. It looks like you don't qualify, or looks like you might qualify. Or here's, if it does come back that you did qualify, here are the next steps and here's how to move forward. All right. We will see you guys next time on The Freedom Philosophy.